Hey there. We're going to take a look at the Transfagarasan Highway in Romania in Assetto Corsa. This was a track that was originally done by another author, but Traxx took it over, added some additional pieces to it, made it look a little bit nicer, and they're even working on a laser scanned version, which should be really interesting. The thing that makes this track of note is that it appeared on a Top Gear episode years ago, and it was featured as one of the world's best driving roads in existence. That drove tourists to Romania in droves to drive the road and have experience on it. So it's something that Romania is pretty proud of, that they were featured on an episode of Top Gear. And so that's what got me interested in taking this drive today. Is I've been watching the Top Gear Classics YouTube channel and have caught a lot of interesting episodes that I had forgotten about and really enjoyed. I enjoyed that show a great deal while it was on, and even loved the Grand Tour before it finally shut down. So that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm driving this. I'm in my Porsche 911 GT3 RS just because of familiarity, and this is a 14.7 mile drive, 23 kilometer. Time of day is not representative of where I am and what I'm doing, but the weather is. So weather is accurate for Romania. Although I imagine it's probably middle of the night in Romania right now. Thought about driving one of the new Gorilla Mods GT4s on this track, but then I probably driving a GT4 in the snow is probably not going to be as much fun as I would want to have driving this road. So I opted for the GT3 instead. Not sure what side of the road Romanians drive on, but I assume it's the right. I don't have any traffic enabled for this, but like to drive this like I'm driving it on a real road, expecting oncoming traffic. Doesn't look like he's bundled for winter weather. This is a hill climb, technically. So I'm driving the northbound hill climb version of the track. There are 4 different configurations. Hill climb short, downhill, and downhill short. Although when I selected the short versions, I didn't see the length change any, so I'm not really sure what those are representative of. Or how long they are. I'm not really pushing hard. I'm just out for a drive because I don't really want to wreck, and don't want to reset. I don't have to. Some pretty nasty drops off this road. Some of it is protected by K-rails, but most of it, it seems, is open, or at least open in sections. That looks like a pretty nasty drop if it was open. Beautiful drive, though. A little bit of road construction. Guess that's quite common. Funny thing is, I actually remember downloading this and giving it a quick drive, and never recorded anything with it, and I don't really remember why. And because this is a Traxx mod, it is a pay mod. There is a free version of this. I don't remember if I took a look at the free version or not, but I would expect that it's a little bit more bare bones than this. Although I do not know, I can't speak to it. But the one that I saw, the most recent that I noted, was a 0.8 version of the original mod by the original author. And then this Traxx version is a 1 point something release. And then, like I said, they're planning on releasing a laser scan version, or at least there's you can pre-order it. Companies I don't know that are international companies, I tend to avoid doing pre-release payments of things if I can help it, because you never know if that money is ever going to result in a product that you actually get to use. And I don't like to find out the hard way that I've wasted money, even, you know, if it's just like $5 or $6. Now, some of the modders that have been in direct contact with and have seen, you know, the quality of their work over time, I view a little bit differently. But if I can't put a name with it and have not had any firsthand experience knowing that these people are actually actively working on what they say they're working on, I won't risk the money until the product's released. Now, if they release a good product, absolutely we'll probably spend a couple of bucks. Also, if you're a modder that sees these videos and go, you know, why hasn't he found my stuff yet? Why isn't he driving my cool stuff? Maybe I haven't found it yet. So if you've got a mod that you've been working on and would like me to drive it on my channel, send it to me. Let me know. And if it's pretty and I like it, chances are really good that I will drive it. You have a bias towards content that is leveraging the latest in CSP technologies, so, you know, and pure can do some cool stuff with it, then, you know, I'm all for it. Road texture matters to me. And I love long drives, so you've got a hill climb that's a long hill climb, or a real-life road somewhere in the middle of nowhere that you want to share with the world, let me know about it. I try to see stuff as it's posted on Overtake. I check weekly to see what's new, and if something, you know, strikes my fancy, I will load it up and drive it. Those aren't the only places that you can find good tracks. A lot of folks are doing stuff via Patreon and other sorts of kind of paywall sites, and very often you don't wind up getting access or even seeing that stuff unless you wind up becoming a Patreon member, and you do some of that by referral. I see somebody that's associated with Assetto Corsa mods, you know, or associated with somebody that I'm already subscribing to, and sometimes I'll find some cool stuff that way, but it's kind of an error-prone way to identify new tracks, new mods. I'm also interested in increasingly in finding new car packs, karting, series-related cars. There's a lot of vintage stuff out there that I've already showcased that I really do love. I found the GT4 pack by Gorilla Mods. Very cool pack of cars. If there are other cool car packs for putting together whole race series, definitely would highlight on that on the channel. I'm not huge into F1 driving from a driving perspective in sim, but the standard fare, GT4s, GT3s, even hypercars, historic stuff, yes. Historic stuff that I absolutely love, you know, the old Camel stuff, American Le Mans series. See a lot of vintage stuff via Jake and GP Laps channel, stuff that he does some amazing stuff. And I saw a great video that Jimmy Broadbent did. Jake William was also in the race, but it was a vintage race using the some of the sports cars, GT and prototype sports cars that I've been featuring on the channel from the vintage collections that recently released. And they did a race at Riverside, an endurance race. And it was entertaining to watch. Jake and Jimmy had quite the battle overall for the race, at least early on. Till Jimmy realized that he brought a knife to a gunfight in terms of fuel strategy. And after the first pit stop, the race was pretty much over for him. Unfortunate. Still entertaining multi-class drive at Riverside. And I absolutely love Riverside. I'm so sorry that that track closed down because it was an amazing circuit with a lot of history. Trying to figure out what the road signs were doing there. You have Riverside, Willow Springs. There are a couple of other tracks from that era that I think actually have Assetto Corsa versions that I'll be looking into in the not too distant future. Really, after kind of seeing that Riverside race, it reminded me that, you know, California has a tremendous history. I think that that's it. That is it. Kind of an abrupt ending. Got a medevac helicopter up here we could fly down the hill in. Anyway, California has a really, really deep history of autosports and has had a lot of tracks, both temporary tracks like Golden Gate Park race circuit is one of my favorite. Never seen that in Assetto Corsa. I hope to someday. But you know, also just, you know, permanent tracks that were built, some of which have closed over time. You know, Riverside closed because the land was just too valuable for development purposes as LA began to sprawl into that area. And you know, a lot of tracks have closed that way. So there's a lot of rich history, and capturing it in sim is kind of an interesting way to just sort of look at that history and celebrate it and recognize it for what it was, what it is, and why it's important to us now. So I'll be doing some of that over the course of this year to just sort of take a look at California racing history and talking a little bit more about some of the tracks that I wish we had in sim. Anyway, hope that this was fun for you. This was Transfagarasan in Romania. Again, track that was featured on Top Gear years and years ago and has brought a lot of tourism to Romania. And it was a fun drive. I actually enjoyed driving that quite a bit. Not too long, but also long enough to really forget I was driving and just have a nice chat. So hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you in the next one. Bye now.
Spaß macht Rennsport.